In this demo, we're going to copy data from SQL Server, convert the data into a CSV, and drop it to an SFTP server. So let's start. So in integration, click on Integration Designer, and then we'll grab a start node and grab a SQL Server source. Then we'll grab a, a CSV, uh, JSON to CSV converter. And then we'll grab an SFTP sender. And we'll finish the orchestration. So first, let's configure the SQL Server data source. So you will need a connection ID and query. So for the connection ID, we'll go to the secrets and create a connection uh, for a secret for the Northwind database. So hit create new, and we'll say SQL Server connection for Northwind. And we'll also set the same value for the name, and then we'll paste the database connection string in the value. So I'll paste that, and then create the click on create. Next, we'll copy that the ID that is generated when the record was created. So we'll copy that and put that in the orchestration in the connection ID. So for the select statement, we're going to get data from customers table. We'll set the retry count to 0. So this retry count and retry interval is used for whenever there is a failure in connecting to the data source due to it being offline. So you can specify a retry count and interval between the retries. So this is specified in milliseconds. Next, we're going to uh, set the columns for the JSON. So we'll set the header, and to do that, we'll first run this and get the column from the JSON data. So I'll save this first and give it a file name. So we'll say demo SQL Server to SFTP. So I'll save that, and I'll play that. So when you hit on play, it will open up a pop-up, and then we have to unblock the pop-up on this site to be able to see the the play window. So that will deploy the orchestration in the backend, and also it will show us the result of the run. So we haven't set the SFTP sender parameters. That's why it's showing up an error. And we also haven't, so so here in the JSON to CSV, we haven't set the header. That's why the output is empty. So we'll have to pick the columns and set that. So I'll have a customer ID and set that in the header. And then we'll have the company name, and then we'll have the contact name, and then we'll have the contact title. So for the sake of time, we will leave these, we will only select 4 columns and convert those 4 columns into CSV. Now, for the SFTP, we will need to set the SFTP parameter. So this is uh, this SFTP. Set the URL of the SFTP, and then we need for the login password ID, we need to generate a another secret for the SFTP login and password. So in the secrets window, we create a new secret. So we'll say this is the SFTP demo login password. And then we'll copy the ID, yeah, of the created record and put that in the orchestration. So in the folder, we'll specify temp file pattern. So we'll say CSV, and then we have a GUID that new GUID that to string, and we'll put a file, an extension of CSV, and then we'll leave the retry count and the other fields empty. So retry count is 0, so it will not retry if there is an error encountered. So we'll save that and we'll play it. So this again, it will deploy to backend, and then the backend will run it and return back with the results. Okay, so everything looks like it's successful. So the data fetched from SQL Server is this one, and that is sent to the JSON to CSV converter, and basically the JSON to CSV converter created the CSV file with this header and then the records, and then it is sent to the SFTP server and sent to the temp folder of the SFTP server. So we'll connect to the SFTP server. So let's say 192. So let's go to the temp folder, and there we have the CSV file that's created. So we'll go back to the orchestration, and we will deploy this to the server. So to deploy this to the server, we just click on save and close, and then in the orchestration that is saved, you click on deploy and click on create, and that will deploy it to the server. So we we just wait for a few seconds till it gets deployed. So it will say it has a running. It will say it's running in the remarks when it's deployed and running. So at the moment it is active. So it's been picked up by a server called Arquin and Arquin is now going to run that. And once that's run, it will say it's running, and we can view the status by click on the graph. So everything is green, so everything is successful. There's no error, and next, what we'll do is we'll look at the logs and see the logs generated. So click on all logs, and so this is the demo uh, Sql server. So it basically executed this and steps and generated the log. So first is the start uh, start node, then the MSSQL receiver node, JSON to CSV, SFTP sender, and then the finish node. And then you can click on graph to view the result. You can also the uh, click the details to see more information. So the details will basically summarize what's going on in this orchestration. Okay, so there's a delay there. So this is basically the detail of the step, the finish step, and these are the associated steps for that particular orchestration. So that is the end of the demo. Thank you very much.